Hey everyone, it's so nice to see you here today. Welcome back to Colourful Indian. I'm going to be telling you my favorite makeup for fall. I know that fall's almost over, but I still thought, well, I've tried out a few new things. So if you are interested in hearing, about the makeup that I recommend for fall, then stick around. Before we get into it, my name is Ranita. I like to do makeup reviews, swatches, tutorials, all kinds of things related to makeup. And today it just so happens that I've kind of put together a collection of things that I thought would be really, really nice for fall. So let's just get right into that. So I'm going to start with some older makeup and I'm going to bring that over right here. So the first one I want to show you is this one. This is by Juvia's Place. It is a very old palette. I actually probably bought this in 2015 and I'm not kidding you, but I absolutely felt that the colors in here was so nice for fall. It's kind of like a more neutral toned palette for fall, and I kind of like it because it also has that green over there, so I thought that this would be really nice. And I've always enjoyed Juvia's Place's formula, so I thought, yeah, better include this as one of the palettes for fall. So moving on, I also ended up getting these BH Cosmetics palettes. And I have always enjoyed using these like just on my own. I don't feature these a ton on my site, but I always like using them, and I use them very lightly because I'm trying not to get rid of like all those imprints, since it's so hard to even find these online anymore, and when you do, they're so overpriced. But I do like this, and I think that it's pretty for fall. Along with that, I have the Cherry palette. So these are all the old ones, okay? And then I'll get, like, as we continue, it's going to go into newer and newer palettes and more interesting color stories, but I really like this for fall too. This is the Cherry Sweet Shop palette. I really like the formula of these. I think that they're just so pretty, and I really love using the shimmers, and I think that you can get quite a few beautiful looks just using, this one palette. Next we have the Berries by Juvia's Place. So this also is such a gorgeous palette for fall, especially if you want some really gorgeous pink tones, mauves, especially that shade over there. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I really felt like this would look so beautiful on anyone during the month of fall. And this shade over here kind of does change color. It goes from like a brown to like a pink. It's really pretty. So I actually really like these mini palettes that Juvia's Place has come up with, and I actually am including 3 more mini palettes that I have, and that's the entire Allure collection. So I don't know how many people have tried these, but I really love the color stories of these. They're absolutely gorgeous. This is one of them, and it's so pretty. I really love this. They've just got beautiful mattes. This is another one over here. Like just the color combination is so pretty. I feel like this, even though it may not be the most obvious choice, but I really like this for the month of fall because it just kind of feels like a really pretty autumn leaf moving into winter kind of thing. So I don't know, like that kind of speaks to me. And then of course the Allure too. I really love this one. This is the blue one, and I just think that blue looks so beautiful and stunning in autumn, because autumn is like, I like that contrast, like especially like because everything's turning red and orange and yellow, and then that pop of blue in autumn. Wow, it's absolutely beautiful. So that's a more non-traditional autumn color, I would say. Okay, let's come into some of the newer palettes over here. So I have this over here. This is the Bad palette by Fantasy Cosmetics. I've tried this a couple of times, haven't featured it on my channel yet, but I did enjoy using this color story. It's one of the lower ranked ones in the whole list, mostly because I feel like I know the formula and I've seen similar shades, I think. So that's probably the reason why I feel like sometimes like even like this one, for example, Mythic and stuff, I think I've tried this from Simply Posh before, so that's the reason why I felt like, okay, like, yeah. But I love the color story. I think it's really pretty, and I have enjoyed using it like just for myself. I should probably feature it on the channel at some point. I've also tried Druid, and I really loved Druid. Druid was such a lovely palette. It's got the same formula, creamy, and it's really pigmented, really fun to use. And yeah, these are duochrome, so you can get a lovely shift of color. The mattes are also really nice, so I really enjoyed using these two, and I think that they would go very nicely for fall. Next I have Norns. This is a Odin's Eye palette, really beautiful color story, and I have really enjoyed using this. Honestly, the shades here are just so pretty. But you know, there's so many similarities with this color story. You can definitely get like more of these in other palettes as well. But I really do love Nons, and I love Odin's Eye. They have such beautiful color stories and beautiful palettes. And that brings me to another fall favorite from Odin's Eye, which is the Solmane 2 palette. Absolutely one of my favorites. I really have enjoyed using the Solmane 2. I did so many looks with this, and I've even used it like, you know, to do looks when I'm not filming. But I just love this color story. It is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. All of these colors. And I like the addition of the blue because, like I said, you know, I like that pop of blue in fall. Oh, oops, that got away. But I really love that. I love the pop of blue. Now, this is a very old palette, and it's not even available right now, actually. But I thought that I would feature it anyway. A lot of palettes are trying to escape me today, but I will not let them escape. So this is Autumn Leaves by Simply Posh Cosmetics, and you can see the beautiful colors in here. I really enjoyed when Simply Posh had, you know, their 12 duochrome palettes and stuff. Like, I haven't really seen very strong shifts in the shades recently. Like, I don't know if I actually ever did with this palette. I think only probably with this one over here you would get a very strong shift, but with the rest of them I don't really see anything. But I always enjoyed this palette, and I loved using it, and you got such beautiful, intense, you know, shades coming out from here that I felt it would be a crime to not include this. So we're coming into the last few palettes, which are actually more traditional fall shades, and I'm pretty excited to show those to you. So now this is Dawn of Fall by It's Belle Cosmetics. It's a purely duochrome palette, but I really love this palette. It is absolutely beautiful, just stunning shades, gorgeous formula. I love the shifts. The shifts are very evident here. So this is a newer formula. I think I won this last year in a giveaway, and it was just so beautiful. So I really enjoy this palette, and I do love the tones in here. And for me, this is like a true fall palette. You know, we're coming into like the classic colors of fall right now. Okay, so then the next one that I have is another Odin's Eye palette. So this is Red Dragon. It was a limited edition palette, and I ended up getting it, but basically this is, you know, the color story, and as you can see, again, true fall colors, really beautiful, and the pigments are just wonderful. So this is more neutral, and you know, you can definitely see that there is a little like pop of green and stuff with Luna over here. Like when you move it up, I don't think you can see it. I don't know if you can see the shifts, but that shade basically changes to green. Solar Flare, which is gold over here, it also kind of goes to green, and it's just such a pretty fall palette. Honestly, I think this is perfect. So that's the reason why I included it a bit higher on my list. Next we have some Nomad palettes. Now Nomad obviously has come up with quite a few beautiful color stories for fall. We are honestly spoiled for choice, especially if you have been collecting them for a long time. So I'm actually including the Okavango palette because I loved using this palette. It just had such beautiful tones. I had so much fun playing around with this, and the shades were just so gorgeous together. This is really one of my favorite palettes, and I usually am not a fan of neutrals. So that should tell you something. I really had so much fun playing with this one, and you know, the formulas are creamy, the mattes are so blendable. I really enjoyed that one. And then of course we have Hudson Valley. With Hudson Valley, I also like the formula, but I felt that some of the shades were like this red, for example, apple picking. I realized that it was actually a little tough to get that to not become like, you know, like how it becomes a bit dispersed and then it's not really staying where you want it to stay. So I felt like the formula for that particular shade was very chalky. So that's the reason why I actually would place Okavango higher than this actual palette. But I really love these tones. Like, I really love this row over here of the shimmers. I like Okavango for that reason as well. It has a fair balance of mattes and shimmers. This palette, it kind of is more matte than shimmer, and you know, I just feel like a shimmer is important to me personally. It's a rare day that I go out with just mattes, and that's the reason why I would definitely put Okavango higher on my list. But I still love this palette and I enjoyed using it. You know, you can create some really beautiful looks with Hudson Valley, especially if you are into the whole autumn color theme and you just want to have a really fun time with all these warm tones. Yeah, this is definitely the palette for you. Okay, now we're coming to like the top 3 palettes, and I'm actually pretty excited about this. This is, you know, Deep Sea Treasures by Clionadh Cosmetics. I had a really lovely time using it, and you're probably going, Rainta, but like you just said that you like having a mix of mattes and shimmers, and these are just shimmers. Yeah, I know, but honestly, I feel like I could still just wear this, and I would pair it with any neutral palette. You just need one neutral shade on your eye and this, and one multi-chrome from here, and you're done. You will have the most beautiful look, and that's the thing I love about multi-chromes, the fact that you can have so many colors on your eyes with just one shade, and for me that's a big plus, and that's why I actually put this higher up on the list, because I just feel like this is a beautiful autumn palette, and I feel like all these colors would go very, very well for autumn, because you can definitely see the red tones, the green tones, the golds, you know, the little bit of silver and blues. This whole collection here, I love it. I love this, and it's really one of my favorite palettes, and I would repurchase it, you know, like at any time because of how much I love it. So I really think this is perfect for fall. So that's top 3. And now we have 2 more to go. So the second one is Samarian Sunset, which I did a review on. This is obviously a newer palette, but I had so much fun using this palette. It's, again, another favorite. Palettes look so messy. I don't like that. I have to go and clean them up. But this is basically what my palette looks like right now. But I really love the tones in this because of just how strong the shifts are in these shades. Now, the reason I'm putting this as number 2 is because it's a lovely collection of multi-chromes and mattes, and like I was saying with the Clionadh palette, you don't need to have a ton of matte shades when you have multi-chromes, because quite frankly you're going to be able to get a lot of colors on your eye, and it's going to look like you've put on a ton of makeup, but it's just going to be like, you know, one palette. So that's the reason why I put this as number 2, and I did so many looks with this palette and I absolutely loved it. It really made me feel so happy and so good. So this is number 2 for me. And now we're coming to number 1. So this is probably the most recent one that we have. It's basically TERRA Moon. I was blown away by this collection because I did swatches of it, I did looks with it. I love the formula of these. Now I know some people have actually found it a little tricky working with the shades, so my tip to you is really always use a base, always look after your eyes. I use castor oil on my eyes. This is a makeup tip for anyone who's finding it really hard to get a smooth base. And when I say smooth base, what I mean is, you know, your eye is kind of not as smooth, so the shade's not getting on there as it should. So I always ensure that I use a base, and I always look after my eyes. So if you're using an eye cream, that's going to be helping a lot. Always look after your skin, because it is the canvas onto which your makeup goes onto. And this is my, you know, bottle of castor oil over here, and I barely use anything. I just take a little drop, I put it in between my fingers like this, and then I just tap, tap, tap all over, you know, the whole eye, and I leave that overnight. And I do that practically every single day because I want my eyes to always be ready for makeup. I want them to always be soft. I want it to be smooth. And I've noticed that my makeup application is a lot easier as well when I'm doing this. Now, I do use a specific kind of brush as well to pick up shades. So usually they tend to be flatter like this. So they may be a bit wider like this and a bit flatter, but it's got a little bit of poof, but not too much. When you take it over the eyeshadow, this kind of brush is going to pick up a lot more pigment. At least that's what I've noticed from experience. And then when you put it over the eye, it just glides on. It is just fantastic. So that's honestly my only trick to wearing makeup. And yeah. That's basically all I have to share with you. I hope that you had fun going through my fall recommendations. And again, you know, sorry that they came out a bit late, but I was kind of wondering about the newer releases and whether I can include some. I was going to include a lot more actually, but I kind of feel like fall's coming to an end at this point, and I just wanted to get this out for anybody who's looking for last minute recommendations. And this one does include some newer makeup. There was so much more that I could add into this, but I thought that I was going to just stick with true fall colors and then some that kind of divert a bit and go all over the place. So yeah, for me, these are some of my favorite palettes. Let me know what your favorites are. I would love to hear them, and that's all I have for you in this video. But you know, I hope that you had fun going through those palettes with me. Let me know if you've tried any, if you have any other recommendations. I may have missed out a couple, but these were the ones that stood out to me the most. So anyway, I will see you soon for another video. Lots of love to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead of you. Bye!